It's the HipHopGamer Show. What it is, HipHopGamer Show.
Yo, what up? It's the one and only HipHopGamer, Hot 97. We in the building. Yo, what's going on?
Homefront.
Can you please tell me something about this game? Because I would love to live to see it.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, so that means you got to get out of here because I'm supposed to live because Steve is going to tell me about this game.
All right, you get a pass.
Can we start?
Yeah.
You ready? Oh, thank God. Word up, man. Like, she came through stunting, you know what I'm saying? Now, real talk, man. Homefront looked crazy, like seriously, and one of the biggest moments about Homefront for me was in the first one where you had to stay still and the dead bodies was being dropped.
Yeah.
That was really intense, and it was so real to the point where, like, even real soldiers that may have had to go through that, if they played this game, it'll mess with them. Like, set the tone for this Homefront Revolution. What is it all about, and what's your goal with this game on how you want to reach the audience?
So, Homefront the Revolution is a reboot of Homefront. So it's a different story. It's still got the same theme of Korea occupying America, but we rewrote the history. It's got an alternate timeline, so we went all the way back to the 1950s. And the premise of the game really is to let the player experience being a resistance fighter in an occupied America. So it's very dark. It's very like emotional. Like you are a member of a really small resistance team fighting against this huge, like, high-tech Korean army. Right. So the sort of theme is like the human cost of that. Like, what is it like to fight a war like that? What is it like to engage in guerrilla warfare? And that's kind of the main premise of Homefront the Revolution.
So why Philly? Like, what? Because I'm pretty sure that location always plays a point in the story that you want to tell. So why Philly? Like, what's so special about Philly that you felt Homefront was a good game to reboot on?
Well, Philadelphia is the home of essentially like American freedom and liberty. It's where the Liberty Bell is. It's where the Declaration of Independence was signed. You know, it's got all these sort of throwbacks to American history. And when we're thinking about setting a game about another American Revolution, it seemed like the perfect place to set it because that's kind of where it all started to begin with.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I want to talk about that I commend you guys on is the way the world changes around you, depending on what you do. Because I hear a lot of complaints a lot of times in the industry where they complain about worlds being static, meaning that they never change. You know what I'm saying? So this one obviously changes, you know, according to what you do. So how does that play a part in terms of how you progress? Because everybody plays differently. So sometimes you just want to go straight through the game, or sometimes you want to do the side quests and, you know, figure it out. But how important is it for you to change the world around you so you can have a better gameplay experience for the consumer?
The world changing stuff is tied directly into the main storyline. So when you start the game, the population of Philadelphia, they are hostile towards the resistance. They don't really want you there screwing in their lives. They don't want you there messing things up. They don't want any violence. They just want to live peacefully, even though they're not happy about it. Right. But then over the course of the game, as you show them that you can fight back against the KPA, that you actually have a chance of winning and that you can free them, they start to come over to your side and helping you out. So the world change stuff really is, it boils down to you stirring the hearts and minds of the American people. And when you've shown them that you can fight and that you can win, they join you and they help you in that fight. So at the start of an area, you might see it's very heavily KPA controlled. There'll be lots of patrols, lots of security drones, lots of cameras. But by the end, all of that will have changed. There'll be rioting on the streets. There'll be graffiti everywhere. The people will be fighting back, and it really does show a changing world, and a world that reacts to the events that are happening in and around it, rather than it just being a sort of setting like a stage. It's more of a living, breathing component to the game itself.
Now, there's been a lot of talk of transmedia, and you see it a lot in like games like The Division, where you got a live action movie and you also got a book, and it all ties into the game and stuff like that. Even when I played the first game, it was very powerful and touching, but looking at this one, it just seems like it takes us to the next level on so many levels. Do you guys got plans to do like comic books or little mini TV shows, or like, you know, movies, anything in that world that could extend this beyond just the game? Because I think there's a message here that can be learned, not just from the game, but from just real life experiences in the form of a movie or some some other form of media. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's a good question. We don't really have any plans to do anything like that right now. But because I think.
Oh my God, you got to do that, man! You crazy? You see this game? It's fun, man.
I think a lot of things like TV and films have already touched on this. Like you look at The Man in the High Castle. It's a very, very similar premise. But I think we want to tell the game we want to tell the story rather that's in the game itself, and feel like that story that's in the game that we have is rounded and fully fleshed out and fully realized, and it doesn't really need any sort of supplementary material to make it feel believable and feel entertaining. But I mean, like you say, it's because we're rebooting it and it's a brand new take on the universe and it's a brand new like timeline. There is loads of things left to explore. Like I imagine when people have played it and like, cool, we've seen Philly in the KPA control. What's like Washington like? What's like LA like? And people will have all these questions. And maybe down the road that's something we can explore in comics or films or TV. Or, like who knows? But right now our focus is just on the game itself, really.
Now, one thing I would say is because you're using real life locations and stuff, do you guys ever see yourselves going into new locations but within the same game? Considering this is like a reboot, I would love to play Homefront, Philly, and then once I finish that, whether it's DLC or however you guys do it, but let's say something happens where you end up in New York or you end up in Alabama, I don't know, somewhere where it's like, yo, I never even expected this to happen here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is that even possible where you could build upon the map as you go with it? I mean, come on, man. I said New York, so you don't talk about Brooklyn. So you know what I'm saying? Come on now.
Yeah, I think that's totally something that could happen, like in the future. Like you say, we tell this story, and the story is very focused on Philadelphia, and that's where the story is set, and that's where we explore. But then the rest of America is occupied by Korea, like it's the entire country. So there's everywhere else to explore. So yeah, we could go like Alabama, New York, like Brooklyn. We could go anywhere we wanted to, really. It's just a case of, do we have an interesting story to tell in that location? Because obviously Philadelphia is really integral to the story that we're telling. So if we picked another location, I feel like that it would have to be integral to that story as well. So, but I mean, who knows? Maybe.
Okay, that's a good one. So last question, because I know we gotta wrap this up, but what I want to ask you is balance. A lot of times when games come out, especially with multiplayer, and you got different armor, you got different weapons, you got different all this other stuff, but sometimes you get real frustrated because you feel like you should have got the kill but you didn't, or somebody got a cheap kill on you and don't understand it. How are you guys balancing the actual game, the weapons, and the way the game comes at you overall, so you be able to have the right tools to go back at the game?
So that's really interesting, because from the initial sort of standpoint, it isn't balanced, and it's intentional. Like the KPA.
Hold up. You gotta get the belt on that one. So you gotta hold the belt on that one, because you gotta hold the belt. Yeah, because that was a good answer. I like that.
So yeah, it isn't balanced. Like you are fighting the KPA. The KPA have way better technology, way better guns. They've got drones. So that's kind of like, we want the player to feel like they're against it and that they don't have a chance. But then you integrate the guerrilla toolkit, which is like the resistances, like traps and bombs and explosives and all the different weapon conversions you can use, and you're meant to really think about the combat and think about a situation and go into it with those things to even it out. But it's always meant to feel like you're on the back foot all the time, and I think that gives it a really unique experience.
Yo, I love you, dog. Like, that is crazy, man. Yo, look, it's your boy HipHopGamer. This is my man Steve. Homefront Revolution is going down. When can we expect the game to come out?
It's out 17th of May in the US and 20th of May in Europe.
All right, cool. I will get it first. All right, May 17th. We out of here, baby. God bless. Peace.